Constitution says Congress leaders carry Constitution in their pockets. Prime Minister Modi launches major developmental projects in Prayagraj ahead of the Mahakumbh in 2025. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar speaks on ties with neighbours in Rajya Sabha, expresses concern over the recent attacks on minorities and Hindu temples in Bangladesh. Mohan Babu apologises to TV9 reporter for assault after attempt to murder charge. But is that enough? Dhankar versus Kharge face-off in Rajya Sabha over speaking time and alleged insults. All right, that's our lead story. Allu Arjun has been arrested. Let's get you all the latest updates on this piece of news. Actor Allu Arjun has been arrested in connection with the tragic stampede outside Sandhya Theatre in Hyderabad during the premiere of his film Pushpa 2 The Room on 4th of December. The stampede unfortunately led to the death of a woman named Revati and left several others injured. Allu Arjun, who was at the theatre to promote his film, was charged under Section 1181 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. This section deals with cases where someone intentionally causes harm to another person using dangerous actions. The actor's legal team has since moved the Telangana High Court seeking to quash the FIR against him. Allu's legal team argued that the actor was not informed about the crowd either by the theatre management or the police. The victim's husband, however, says that Allu Arjun has nothing to do with his wife's death and is ready to withdraw the cases. Victim's husband claims that he did not know about Allu Arjun's arrest. Now let's take a look at what the FIR says. In response to the incident, Allu Arjun announced a financial contribution of 25 lakhs to the deceased woman's family. The Sandhya Theatre management has also requested the police protection both on the 4th and 5th of December. Despite this, the actor's arrest has sparked debate on whether he should be held accountable for crowd mismanagement, as reports suggest the stampede occurred when his security staff attempted to control an overcrowded theatre, that is Sandhya. While the actor's supporters argue that the blame should not solely rest on him, many point to the lack of proper planning and crowd control measures at the venue. Was it Allu Arjun's responsibility to manage the crowd? Or should the theatre management and event organizers share the blame for this unfortunate event?
Sir, what is your comment on Allu Arjun?
Allu Arjun, please पता कर लेके बोलता हूँ
Sir, what is your comment on Allu Arjun?
Allu Arjun, please पता कर लेके बोलता हूँ Sir,
what is your comment on Allu Arjun?
Allu Arjun, please पता कर लेके बोलता हूँ
Is he arrested?
Yes, he was arrested.
Right, sir. Madam. Is he arrested?
Yes, he was arrested.
Right, sir. Madam.
All right, many twists and turns in this case, and to know more about this, my colleague Mohammed Bajiullah is live with us right now to take us through what really happened. Baji, let's just talk about the sequence of events, as it were, because the other aspect is the legal aspect, the legalese of this, which I think we should leave to the courts. But what really happened, Mohammed Bajiullah?
Well, so seriously, this is a very unfortunate incident at the first of it because the lady lost her life for an incident which was uncalled for on the 4th of December. They are all gathered at Sandhya Theatre for the movie screening. Allu Arjun was expected to be there at that point of time at around 9:10. There were a lot of people in the theatre, and around 9:40 there was this talk that the Allu Arjun is going to be there, and people from the theatre were asked to come out, is what the FIR clearly claims. And this FIR is of the husband who lost his wife over there. And in this FIR, she clearly says that the management was not done properly, and a lot of people were pushed out, and because of that, her wife got suffocated because of the stampede that happened over there. Now, in the court, as we speak, the arguments are underway. Over there, also, the lawyers of Allu Arjun have tried to say that the cause of the death is called a suffocation. This does not come under the ambit of culpable homicide. They've also gone on to argue that the Sandhya theatres had asked the police for additional police force to maintain law and order situation over there. The police lawyers have also argued, saying that we had informed the actor not to attend the event or not to go to the theatre at this particular point of time. So as we speak, to and fro is going on. But if we look at the incident on the 4th was unfortunate. 2 days later, Allu Arjun also gave a video released a video saying that he's very saddened with the fact that such a thing has happened, and he's ready to give 25 lakh as compensation. But after all of this, the case still went ahead, and FIR was registered after the husband of Revati filed this case. And now, as we speak, there is only a few options that are left. One is whether he gets the interim bail, but from what we have learned, the argument is for squashing the entire case, because they've also used the example of Shah Rukh Khan in Vadodara in 2017 when he was traveling through a train where a lot of people had gathered, and there also a stampede-like situation had occurred. They said also compared that particular situation with this particular situation of Allu Arjun in the court right now. And the state council is also trying to push the point forward that he's already been arrested. So there is no procedure where a case would be squashed. It can only happen on Monday is what the state council has asked the judge. But the judge is also listening to other arguments from the district. And we'll have to wait and watch how that turns out, because what happened on the 4th is unfortunate. That is something that cannot be changed right now. But whether this entire thing comes on the actor, whether it is his responsibility to make sure about the crowd in that particular theatre, that is something that is being debated right now. And we'll have to wait and watch what the lawyers say, what the judge says when it comes to this.
You know, Vaji, at the end of the day, you very rightly said it's very unfortunate. You know, a woman lost her life, her child is also seriously, grievously injured. But the point, if you look at the larger part of it, look at it in an expansive way, it's more about crowd management. I mean, the theatre, you know, there are lots of question marks going to be there on the Sandhya theatre's role about crowd control. I mean, it seems completely, I mean, when we have, you know, as journalists, we have celebrities coming to our office, we have politicians coming to our office. The security personnel are informed much in advance, you know, that this is going to happen. The onus is on us. It's not on the person who's arriving.
So then you and I clearly know the mindset of a South Indian fan. We both have done a story with regards to that. And if you see, whenever a movie release happens in the South, it is bound to have thousands and thousands of fans who are there, especially when there are stars are like Allu Arjun, Prabhas, Yash, and the others. At that point of time, arrangements by the police is incumbent. Arrangements by the theatre management is incumbent. And in this particular case, also the theatre management claims that they had asked for additional forces from the police for crowd management. Now it becomes incumbent on the police to make sure to put this point across to the judge whether the theatre had actually had proper arrangements done, whether they had the adequate force that was present over there. If not that, what were the entry points? What were the exit points? How much space was available? Was calling the actor there important or not? Whether or the actor came on his own accord? Was that permission also taken or not? All these things will be argued. But yes, at the end of it, it's the event organizer. It's you and I. If we are calling a politician to our office, it's our responsibility to make sure that nothing untoward happens. It's the management's responsibility at the end of the day. How is the actor going to be paying for it is something that will be argued in front of the court, and we'll have to wait and watch what the judge comes out with.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Mohammad Wajiullah, for joining us on this broadcast. And let's listen in to what one very, very famous actor said, that is Varun Dhawan, on the entire issue.
I feel जो safety protocols है वो हर चीज एक एक्टर सिर्फ अपने ऊपर नहीं ले सकता है. We can tell people around us, जैसे कि हम लोग अभी मैं इसी के बात कर सकता हूँ. सिनेपोलिस ने बहुत अच्छा प्रबंध किया है यहाँ पे, and we are grateful to them on that. एंड जो हादसा हुआ है वो बहुत दर्दनाक है. वेरी सॉरी, सेंड माय कंडोलेंसेस, बट एट द सेम टाइम आई थिंक जो आप ब्लेम है सिर्फ एक इंसान पे नहीं डाल सकते.
Even as there is this angle of where does the buck stop so far as crowd management is concerned, Allu Arjun's arrest has drawn all-round criticism. BRS leader K.T. Rama Rao has criticized the arrest and called it the pinnacle of insecurity of the rulers. KTR tweeted that he totally sympathized with the victims of the stampede and asked, who failed really? He wrote, and I quote him here, treating Allu Arjun as a common criminal is uncalled for, especially for something he isn't directly responsible. There is always space for respect and dignified conduct. I strongly condemn the high-handed behavior of the government. Going by the same perverse logic, Revant Reddy should be arrested for causing the death of 2 innocent people who died in Hyderabad because of the fear psychosis caused by Hydra. That's what he said. Let's now go to the other big story that we are following on the South Indian, and that is this story. There he is, Barbaric Babu. The world knows him as Mohan Babu. Apology won't suffice. That's what we've been saying since morning, and let me tell you what the apology is all about. Actor Mohan Babu, aka Barbaric Babu, after grievously assaulting my reporter colleague TV9 Telugu's Ranjit, has tendered an apology on your screens right now. It's playing out. That's the apology letter that he has released. Now, the actor claimed that he was only trying to protect himself from anti-social elements when the media got inadvertently intertwined in the situation. Well, sounds rather weak, his argument, I must say, because whatever the provocation, Mohan Babu had no business assaulting my colleague Ranjit. So all this is very lukewarm and diluted. Anyway, he's apologized. Now, the attack on Ranjit occurred on the evening of 10 December when Ranjit was in the line of duty. Even as Manchu Manoj, Mohan Babu's son, was trying to enter the family home in Jalpilli, Mohan Babu came surging forward and lunged at my colleague after snatching away his mic and began assaulting him and also hurling physical abuse and verbal abuse. On your screens right now, look at him. There he is. He will now lift there he is, and hit my colleague. That it is. And he's apologized for this horrific, barbaric act, as it were. In the midst of an all-round uproar and condemnation, Ranjit is recuperating in hospital after undergoing a surgery as he had multiple fractures on his cheekbones. There you have it, pictures of my colleague, reporter of TV9 Telugu, Ranjit. There he is. He is recuperating, thank God. Mohan Babu was first booked under Section 118 of the BNS and later booked for attempt to murder under Section 109 for brutally attacking Ranjit. But I'm asking you, will an apology suffice for the murderous assault on the reporter? Shouldn't the actor be arrested immediately for the murderous attack? After all, logically, an attempt to murder charge has already been added to the case against this Barbaric Babu over the attack. To speak more on this, let me first go across to my colleague Noor Mohammed, and then we have a special guest who will also talk about the legal aspect of his. Noor Mohammed, a very warm welcome to you. बताइए अभी तक जो इनकी जो माफीनामा है इसके बारे में आप कुछ बताइए व्यूअर्स को कि अब कुछ क्या सब हुआ है बारबेरिक बाबू के केस में.
देखिए, तेलंगाना पुलिस बहुत सीरियसली इस केस को नोट किया था और अटेम्प्ट टू मर्डर का केस एफआईआर में शामिल करने के बाद
मैं उस रिपोर्टर के साथ खड़ा नहीं होना चाहिए था. कहीं ना कहीं उन्होंने माफी मांगी है, मगर तेलंगाना पुलिस ये चाहती थी कि मोहन बाबू दवाखाने से डिस्चार्ज हो और उसका पूछताछ करें. देखिए, आज पूरे हैदराबाद और तेलंगाना के अंदर विस्तार का डिस्कस चल रहा है, जिसमें पुलिस काफी बिजी होने की वजह से आज कल से मोहन बाबू के केस के साथ सीरियस लेने वाली है. और मोहन बाबू हर तरह से वो जानते हैं कि जो मोहन बाबू जो किए थे वो काफी गलत था. वो पहले से एहतियाती तौर पर अपने आप को बचाने के लिए पुलिस जा चुके हैं, मगर कोर्ट को राहत नहीं दी है. और पुलिस उन पर कल शिकंजा कसेगी. पुलिस ने देखिए जर्नलिस्ट रंजीत के पास पूरा अगर अपना स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्ड किया है, जो सीसीटीवी फुटेज और मीडिया के जो कैमरा में जो रिकॉर्ड हुआ था सब कुछ राचकोटा पुलिस ले चुकी है और पूरी तरह जांच कर चुकी है। कल मोहन बाबू को पहाड़ी शरीफ पुलिस बुलाने वाली है और मोहन बाबू अगर किसी तरह का हेल्थ इश्यूज बताते हैं तो अब यहाँ पे तेलंगाना पुलिस सुनने वाली नहीं है, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी केस सीरियसली जा चुका है। दवा खाने से वो डिस्चार्ज होने के बाद जिस तरह से वॉइस मैसेज दे सकते हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं पुलिस के सामने भी हाजिर हो सकते हैं। कल दोपहर के बाद तेलंगाना पुलिस मोहन बाबू के केस को सीरियसली नोट करने वाली है।
उन्होंने नाम लेके माफी मांगी है क्योंकि हमने उसको स्क्रीन पे प्ले तो किया लेकिन व्यूअर शायद उसे पढ़ ना पाए हों। उसका थोड़ा डिस्क्रिप्शन अगर आप दे दें नूर मोहम्मद।
देखिए, कानूनी लड़ाई बहुत महंगी पड़ेगी मोहन बाबू को। जिस तरह का रवैया, जिस तरह की बदतमीजी रंजीत के साथ हुई थी पूरे देश भर में, खासतौर पर अगर मैं तेलंगाना की बात करूं तो तमाम जर्नलिस्ट सड़कों पे थे, मोहन बाबू पे कानूनी कार्रवाई की मांग कर रहे थे। मोहन बाबू ने कहा कि उनके परिवार के बारे में, उनका परिवार कैसा है, उनका रवैया कैसा रहता है, जर्नलिस्टों के साथ उनके पिछली जिंदगी कैसी रही, इस मुकाम तक पहुंचने के लिए वो जर्नलिस्टों ने कितनी उनकी मदद की, वो तफसीलात उन्होंने उस ऑडियो मैसेज में बताया है। कहीं ना कहीं वो एक बात ये भी बता दी कि जो मेरा रवैया था ये गलत है, इस तरह नहीं होना चाहिए, मुझे काफी अफसोस है। ये कहते हुए उन्होंने जर्नलिस्टों से माफी भी मांगी है। मेरे परिवार का इश्यू था, मैं काफी उलझा हुआ था और एक तरफ परिवार में लोग उलझे हुए हैं, ये सब कुछ उन्होंने उस ऑडियो मैसेज में कहा है। देखिए, ये पूरा कहना यही चाहते थे कि कहीं ना कहीं वो कानूनी जो सेक्शनें लगी है, जो BNS के तहत जो उनका ऊपर जो आइटम टू मर्डर का केस जो बुका, उससे राहत पाना चाहते थे। उससे राहत की सांस लेने के बाद ही कहीं ना कहीं उनकी कोर्ट से राहत मिल सकती है, ये उनका सोचना था। क्योंकि आज दोपहर के बाद उन्होंने दवाखाने से जैसे डिस्चार्ज होने के बाद ऑडियो मैसेज रिलीज करने के बाद आज कोर्ट चले गए। कोर्ट पूरी तरह सुनवाई करने के बाद पूरी तरह उनकी पिटीशन को खारिज कर दिया गया है। अब रहा सवाल मोहन बाबू के पास, वो तेलंगाना पुलिस का आमना सामना करना पड़ रहा है। रंजीत के साथ जो कुछ हुआ है उनको पूरी तरह पुलिस के सामने उगलना बाकी है। इसीलिए मोहन बाबू हर तरह की कानूनी लड़ाई लड़ने के लिए, कानून से राहत की सांस लेने के लिए इस तरह की कोशिशें करते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं।
मोहम्मद नूर, आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया कि आप हमारे साथ जुड़े। एंड लेट्स नाउ गो टू द अदर एक्सपर्ट। L. Ravichandar, senior advocate from Telangana High Court, is joining us to talk about the legal aspect. And Mr. Ravichandar, thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Ravichandar, you know, the apology does not suffice. He has brutally assaulted and attacked my colleague, our colleague, TV9 Telugu reporter Ranjit, who's now recuperating in hospital after multiple fractures on his cheekbone. The point is that my colleague will not be able to speak or work for nearly a month, and he's a broadcast journalist, sir, Mr. Ravichandar. I want to ask you, considering there is already an attempt to murder charge, where does the case take? Our apology is not going to suffice. A court is not going to take an apology as an excuse for him to be let off the hook, Mr. Ravichandar.
Yeah, I find a very apparent contradiction in the action of the government of the state. On the one hand, you have a film actor who's remotely connected to the death of a person who dies in an accident in a stampede and he gets arrested. And in another case, you have an actor, public personality, who is obviously seen beating up somebody who's now in a hospital and he's not even arrested. And he's been only called with an invite to come for breach of peace. So I see a contradiction in that. This apology is too little too late. Yes, so chueka ke billi haj ko chali is not going to work. I believe that the action of the man is a part of the persona. I also believe that unfortunately journalists are soft targets. Very often they don't have a real protective mechanism except that they work together sometimes in a small minor protest. And after a day or two, everybody goes back to their roti pani work and the case is forgotten. But I think film actors need to understand they have a strong symbiotic relationship with the media. They survive because of the good that they get out of the media, their reviews, their talks, their public persona is built up as a character by the media. Therefore, there will be times when they are cross-examined, when they are examined, and his son is an actor. He has two sons and a daughter who are stars. So a public man's private life is public property. So to say that somebody was merging in or intruding into his privacy is not to be taken too far. Assuming without conceding that there was an intrusion on private life, that does not give you the right to get physical with somebody. And the degree of your physicality with the victim shows that you were showing absolute naked power, which in any civilized society is not acceptable.
I want to ask you that considering he attacked my colleague with the mic, and the mic is nothing but an iron rod, if you look at it as a bare, if you rip it off, all the mic IDs and everything, it's a rod, so can this be seen from the prism of murderous intent, as it were?
See, I'm sure at some point in time when the matter comes up for trial, that he should be charged for it. There is no two opinions. Absolutely no two opinions on that. He should be charged for using a dangerous weapon, for causing, with an intent to cause death. I'm sure the forensic will start talking about it forensically at some point in time. But surely he will say that it was sudden provocation. Was it sudden provocation? Is the provocation and the action proportionate to one another? Are issues that are much later to be gone into. For the present.
Yeah, Mr. Ravichandar,
that the use of the
Mr. Ravichandar, I'm sorry to interject in this fashion. However, I have another question to ask you, which is that considering, attempt to murder charge has been, he's been charged under this, been booked under it. He then said he was unwell and he was subsequently discharged from hospital because he's no more indisposed. The point is that don't you think the police can actually go and arrest him? Or
that's a no-brainer question. He should be.
And that's being delayed. I mean, it is kind of being delayed, isn't it?
That's what I said. I'm surprised. You go and arrest a man who's remotely connected to the death of a certain person in one case, and in the other case, a guy who's directly involved in attempt to murder. You let loose of him for so long. I would have had the police first tapping at his door rather than at Allu Arjun's house.
Right. Also, Mohan Babu in his defense has said that he was trying to protect himself from some unruly, unnecessary...
After he's arrested.
I'm sorry, sir.
He will say that after he's arrested, not before.
No, he's already speaking to. He's already said that the apology letter that he has tendered, in that he says very clearly that I was trying to protect myself from some unruly antisocial elements. I mean, doesn't really hold water, does it, Mr. Ravichandar? Very diluted.
Two things.
Yes, sir.
Two things. Please let us understand this. Whether the action of his beating up somebody, you have photographic evidence of that, whether that is proportionate to his belief that he was being attacked and this is self-defense, a matter of fact that needs investigation. As of now, what you have on paper is that he attacked a man with a rod in his hand and the man is badly injured. He's in hospital. These are the facts. His letter to you, okay, let's take every case where somebody is attacked and he's in a hospital. Is the government going to collect apology letters from them and let go of them? Obviously no. And the same standard will have to be applied to Mr. Mohan Babu.
Also, I want to ask you that, attempt to murder, and some lawyers have said that, that it could either be that or it could be life imprisonment. Would you like to speak on that, Mr. Ravichandar? How does that work?
No, I would say that it's too premature an issue to be discussed about, because courts will look at the circumstance. They'll take a holistic view. They will take his defense. They'll take his character. They'll see what happened that evening. Because what happened that evening, one version is that there was a press conference. So if there was a press conference, as one version says, how is it intrusion into his private affairs? But if it was not a private affair, did Manoj call for a press conference? We don't know. There is a lack of credibility within the family itself. So how do you go around attacking outsiders for that?
So much, Mr. Ravichandar, for joining us on this broadcast and, talking about the various aspects of Mohan Babu's assault on my colleague. Thank you indeed. Time now for a break in the South Indian, but when I come back, it's loaded today with all the stories from all the states of the South. See you on the other side.
In the fight against child rape and murder, the police plays a crucial role. Their involvement is both proactive and reactive. It includes interventions at the prevention levels and investigation levels as well. Since the Nirbhaya case in 2012, which led to tougher laws against rape, little appears to have changed. But stopping crime against women cannot be left to the police alone.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Valuations can be frothy. Going public is almost like what some of us would like to say is the holy grail, right? IPOs are a trend, not a bubble.
Do secondary markets exist? Answer is absolutely yes, and it's been around for a very long time.
Valuations could be high or low, and valuation may correct over time, but IPOs are here to stay. It is basically a graduation ceremony of sorts. It is potentially where a startup stops being a startup and starts becoming an enterprise.
The IPO space has just started in the past 24 months. The startup ecosystem has been around for 15 years.
Fundamentally, if you have a strong business and you have predictability of cash flows and you can actually give with a fair degree of confidence where the business is headed, the market will reward you.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
All right, that's our next story. Dindigul Hospital Inferno claims 6 lives. A horrific fire accident struck last night at 9 p.m. at the City Ortho Hospital on the Dindigul-Trichy National Highway, a private 4-story hospital which claimed the lives of 6 people, including a child and 2 women, and left several others injured. Initial investigations point towards a short circuit as the reason for this fire accident in the hospital. At around 9 p.m., thick flames and plumes of smoke were seen rising near the hospital's entrance, which rapidly engulfed the entire hospital building. Patients and staff were seen running around in panic before rescue teams arrived to evacuate nearly 100 people from the smoke-filled hospital. Emergency responders, including 3 fire engines, 50 ambulances and local police teams reached the scene. The firefighters battled for over 2 hours and extinguished the fire by 11 p.m. Rescue officials evacuated approximately 30 inpatients and 29 of them were transferred to government and private hospitals close by. Of the injured, 3 were reported to be in critical condition and are currently on ventilator support at the Dindigul Medical College Hospital. Among those who lost their lives in the inferno, 5 were individuals who were trapped in an elevator on the hospital's ground floor and were found dead when the elevator was later opened. Although preliminary reports suggest that suffocation was the cause of their deaths, official confirmation from medical authorities is as of now pending. The victims have been identified as follows: Surali, 50 years old, and his wife Subbalakshmi, 45 years old. A couple from the neighbouring Theni district, Mariammal, 50 years old, and her son Manimurugan, 28 years old, Rajasekar, 35 years old, and a 6-year-old girl, all residents of Dindigul district. Their bodies were sent to the Dindigul Medical College Hospital for post-mortem examinations. Meanwhile, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin announced a sum of 3 lakhs from the Chief Minister's Public Relief Fund to the families of the victims. Stalin also extended assistance of 1 lakh each to those under treatment in the intensive care unit with serious injuries and 50,000 rupees to persons with simple injuries. This is not the first time that a hospital has caught fire in Tamil Nadu. Of course, all over India there have been several cases. We shall put up the data for all the hospitals in Tamil Nadu which have caught fire so far. But the question to ask is, this is a hospital. Why is it there are not enough safety precautions so far as fire accidents are concerned? To speak more on this, Dr. Atul Garg, Director, Delhi Fire Safety, is with us. Dr. Garg, a very warm welcome to you. What an unfortunate incident this is. A child has also lost, his life in this inferno. Dr. Garg, this every time a fire breaks out in a hospital, the first question which comes to people's mind is, it's a hospital for God's sake. Why is it that safety measures are not taken care of, Dr. Garg?
See, this is a bigger challenge for the fire department also, because the firefighting in the hospital is one of the very critical, a critical case. And the fire safety is always neglected by the hospitals, in Delhi also and all over India also. The fire safety arrangement in the hospital is not up to the mark in most of the private hospitals. Although the big hospitals are maintaining the fire safety system, but a small nursing home like this ground plus 4-story building in which this fire has occurred is really a challenge and really serious in nature. The hospital fire is one of the most difficult tasks for firefighters, because there are patients, there are ICU, there is a immobility of a patient who have a orthopedic patient, something like that. Space crunch is also one of the issues, because when the hospital start earning money, getting more patients, they use every inch of space. And this causes loss of, commotion in case of fire. There is no space to shift the patient. And really, it is very, very tough task for the firefighter and as well as the patient also. So
Understand,
you are very right.
Of course, you're right, Dr. Garg, that we need a kind of very, very solid safety measures so far as fire is concerned, and those visuals are of the accident in Dindigul Ortho Hospital on your screens right now. Dr. Garg, I have seen in a lot of hospitals that we are still stuck with these age-old kind of, firefighting safety measures. Why is it, whether it's a government hospital or any other hospital where you have a lot of traffic, why is it that it is not updated? Whose fault is it, sir?
See, the primary responsibility is with the management of the hospital. Those who are doing a business, they have to be up to the mark. And in case of hospital, they have to provide a fire safety arrangement themselves. And the government authority, like us, we are the implementing agency. Whether they have been provided, they have got the NOC, but unfortunately, at the part of implementation also we are lacking, and the owner is also lacking. They are not doing it as per rule, as per requirement. They must do it, because I always say, when you can provide oxygen line, you can provide beds, you can provide AC. Why can't you provide a fire safety arrangement which costs minimal? But always it is happening whenever there is a fire, then we say that this is not there, that is not there. But yes, we are also responsible as the implementing agency, and the primary responsibility is the owner to provide because when you are running a business, first you have to take all the precaution, all the, as per the law requirement, and then you have to start business. Unfortunately, it is not happening. Not in Delhi also, in everywhere in India also.
I remember a neonatal hospital in Delhi which caught fire. It was one of the most horrific incidents ever. There, of course, the owners had not followed a single safety measure, Dr. Garg. I want to ask you, sir, why is it that the firefighting department cannot do surprise checks on these hospitals? A stitch in time is a stitch saved.
Yes, you are right, because that hospital was running, there are some rules, and they are finding a loophole in the rules, and now we are plugging it also, and then they are doing it. As in Delhi, the hospital which are having a height of less than 9 meters does not require NOC. And he was using that, that loophole, and he was running a hospital like ground and first floor and illegally using, and the second floor also. Yes. So that is the issue, because we are looking into this matter. Now we are revising the rule also. And we are making a, a audit of all the hospital, whether they required NOC or not. It should be done. That's you are right.
Director of Delhi Fire Safety. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on this broadcast. Thank you indeed. All right, our next story on the South Indian is this. Actor Darshan gets bail. What's the story? The Karnataka High Court has granted bail to actor Darshan in connection with the Renukaswamy murder case. The bail comes at a time when Darshan is already out of jail after he was granted an interim bail by the High Court on medical grounds. All the accused in the murder case, including Darshan and his partner Pavitra Gowda, have been granted bail and will be walking out of jail after 6 months. During the hearing of bail plea, the special public prosecutor had opposed the bail plea, saying that there was a strong prima facie case against Darshan and contended that Renukaswamy had been deceitfully brought from Chitradurga to Bengaluru and hence it cannot be treated as a case of simple assault. It needs to be recalled that Renukaswamy, a native of Chitradurga, was allegedly kidnapped and murdered in Bengaluru on the 8th of June. Darshan had been arrested by the Bengaluru police on 11th of June and was named as accused number 2 in the charge sheet. Darshan's fans are as of now celebrating outside the hospital in which Darshan is currently admitted for a surgery. On the other hand, the family of the victim, Renukaswamy, has said that they have complete faith in the judicial system and justice shall prevail and the accused shall be punished eventually.
ಅಪರಾಧಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಬೇಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ತಮ್ಮ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಟಿವಿ ಹಾಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಲಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ ಪೂರ್ಣವಾದ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇದೆ. ತಾತ್ಕಾಲಿಕವಾಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಆದರೆ ಅಂತಿಮವಾಗಿ ಯಾರು ತಪ್ಪಿಸ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಪೂರ್ಣ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇದೆ.
A total of 7 petitioners who were before the Honorable High Court of Karnataka seeking regular bail. They have all been granted bail. Their petitions came to be allowed a while ago, and the grounds on which the bail applications are being appreciated are that, see, there is a grave delay in recording the statement of eyewitnesses. That had led to grave suspicion. And secondly, the tower locations. Okay, in the tower location, the very presence of some of the accused was not forthcoming. And thirdly, the technical evidences which the prosecution relied upon, such as the DNA matching of the blood samples of the accused with that of the blood stains found on the cloths of the accused and other alleged weapons as well. And in connection to the same, there were a lot of doubts which could have arose, for the very reason being the number of injuries when looked at. Although there are serious injuries, none of those injuries were contusions.
And to speak more on this, my colleague Mohammad Wajiullah, live from Bengaluru. Waji, a few weeks ago we were talking about how he has to undergo a medical procedure. There were also medical tests, whether his blood pressure, etc., etc. Everything is stable. Tell our viewers the grounds for the bail of Darshan, the actor.
Well, Sudha, as we speak, the court orders are yet to arrive, but from what we've understood and from what we've spoken to our sources, the reasons for the bail is that Darshan's lawyers were able to punch holes into the charge sheets that were filed by the police. They were able, if you look into the arguments that were placed, Darshan's lawyer had clearly mentioned how the entire sequence where the kidnapping was done of Renukaswamy cannot be claimed as kidnapping. It was something that Renukaswamy knew. He was told that he's going to Bangalore. All these things were told to him is what Darshan's lawyer were trying to put in forward. Apart from that, they also tried to put the point across that Darshan's mobile towers were not there at that particular point of time. So all these things combined together has helped Darshan's case. Also, there were the lack of, like Ranganath Reddy also in his bite has claimed that the recording of the statement also from the time of the incident took a lot of time for the police, and that created a lot of suspicion. And on those basis, he has been granted bail. So now, as we already know, Darshan is out on an interim bail on the medical grounds, and he's in the hospital as of now. So this his bail is already evident. He's already out of jail. The other accused we'll have to wait for the court order, and most probably they will be out by Monday, because as we speak, it's already 6 and it's now time for the court also to shut, and Saturday, Sunday being an off. So you might not see them coming out, but for all we know is Darshan is clear to leave the hospital. Whether he leave the hospital or not is something that we'll have to wait and watch, because he's still going through his surgery, and that might also take place in the coming few days, because that was the ground in which he had come out. But this relief for Darshan is a big relief, because it has been 6 months that he was behind bars for a crime, for the death of Renukaswamy, and now this is a big relief for him and for the fans. As we speak, fans have already thronged to the hospital, and celebration mood has been going on there.
The thing is that his surgery, which you talk about, because that's the next step, considering he's going to walk out now. The thing is, there was also a bit of a confusion whether it should be done in Mysuru. He wanted it done in Mysuru. They said you can do it in Bengaluru itself. So as of now, Vaji, can we safely say that the next step for actor Darshan is going to be the surgery for his back?
Well, Sudha, already he was outside for the surgery purpose itself, and it was supposed to have happened at least 30 days back, but all this while it had been delayed.
Vaji, we are getting some. I'm sorry, Vaji, to interject. There is news about the other actor. Telangana High Court has granted interim bail to Allu Arjun. The court has said, let them avail appropriate remedies. Meanwhile, that is the breaking news that we are getting right now. For those who have just joined us, Telangana High Court has granted interim bail to actor Allu Arjun in the death during stampede case on 4th of December at Sandhya Theatre in Hyderabad. The court has said, let them avail of all the appropriate remedies meanwhile. So, as it turns out, Allu Arjun has been granted interim bail. Vaji, a big relief for Allu Arjun, of course, considering a lot of people were saying, and you also were reporting just now, that now we'll have to wait and watch till Monday. Vajiula.
Well, yes, there were two options that he had. One of this was the squashing of the case, and the other was interim bail. And interim bail is something that went through because the judge has also mentioned that there is sympathy for the family also who lost their loved one. But in this entire matter, the lawyers of Allu Arjun were able to punch into their arguments by saying that when it comes to stampede, it is not the actor's responsibility, it was the management's responsibility. They also went on to say how Sandhya Theatre had asked for additional forces to the police, but the police did not comply to it. While the police, on the other hand, went on to say that the actor was informed not to be at that particular spot, but he also went ahead. So there seems to be lapses from a lot of end. Apart from that, the lawyers had also quoted another judgment in the case of Shah Rukh Khan and during the Vadodara case, where a lot of people lost their life because of a train travel that Shah Rukh Khan did. And in that also, the actor was not blamed for the entire ruckus. And if you remember, we had been talking about how much of the role of an actor is in this entire matter. And that was argued today in the court with regards to the bail. And from what we've learned now is the judge has granted Allu Arjun bail. So that is also a relief. Two actors are out on the same day. It's a big relief for all the fans out there, Sudha.
Thank you so much, Mohammad Vajiullah, for joining us on this breaking news. And let me just read out for you, ladies and gents, what the court said on your screens right now. The court said that Allu Arjun has the right to life and liberty. The High Court, of course, has granted interim bail to Allu Arjun. And there you have the visuals of Allu Arjun earlier during the day. And like the High Court said, Allu Arjun has right to life and liberty. That's what the High Court said. Big relief for Allu Arjun from the High Court after the High Court has granted him interim bail. Granted interim bail. Allu Arjun, the actor of Pushpa, is right there on your screens. What a story Allu Arjun's has been, from morning, even as morning turns to evening, he's been granted interim bail. Monday is going to be also very exciting to see how the courts and the legal system reacts to Allu Arjun going forward. Let's move on. This is a story coming from Telangana, a visual of a farmer, Hiriya Naik, from Lagcherla being taken to hospital in handcuffs by police officials, and Sangareddy jail staff has sent shockwaves across Telangana, prompting an immediate response and reaction from Chief Minister Revanth Reddy, who ordered an inquiry into the atrocity. Now Nayak, one of the accused in the Lakcherla attack case, incident related to the attack on the Vikarabad district collector Pratik Jain and other revenue department officials at Lakcherla complained of ill health, and that is when he was being transported by the police and jail authorities. Now the visuals show police officials in Sangareddy jail staff taking Hiriya Nayak, a farmer from Lakcherla, to Sangareddy hospital in handcuffs. The Chief Minister expressed immense anger and ordered higher officials to initiate a probe into the incident and submit a detailed report. He also warned the officials that the people's government won't tolerate such incidents, where under trials can actually be taken handcuffed. Look at that visual. One hand is free, the other is still in the hand of a cop. His hand in handcuff. The fallout, of course, was that Director General of Prisons, Soumya Mishra, suspended Sangareddy jailer P. Sanjeeva Reddy on charges of dereliction of duty. Mishra also sent a report to Home Secretary on the prison superintendent Santosh Kumar Roy. Now, according to doctors in Sangareddy, all the reports, including the ECG of the farmer, were normal. However, the doctors have suggested that Hiriya Nayak should be shifted to Gandhi Hospital as a precautionary measure. Meanwhile, the opposition BRS and the working president K.T. Ramarao termed the handcuffing of the farmer as cruel and inhuman and unconstitutional. Let's get you some news from Tamil Nadu. A flood alert has been issued for Tamil Nadu as days of heavy rains have filled reservoirs to their maximum levels. The Water Resources Department has released 1,000 cusecs of water from the Pundi reservoir. Additionally, 13,000 cusecs of water was released from Satanu Dam in Tiruvannamalai and 3,500 from the Chembarambakkam Dam near Chennai. There's also been a surge in the flows of Amravati river and the inflows into the Kaveri river and are expected to surge even further. The Public Works Department has said that it shall begin discharging 25,000 cusecs of water into the Kollidam river with the river carrier, flood carrier of the Kaveri Delta districts. The Indian Meteorological Department has urged residents in low-lying areas to stay vigilant and has issued a red alert for the southern districts of Tamil Nadu as a well-marked low-pressure area currently near the Sri Lankan coast is suspected to bring heavy rains over the next 2 days. On your screen of heavy rains, torrential rains in Tamil Nadu. There is an alert in Tamil Nadu. Of course, schools were shut yesterday and colleges in some districts. But for the next 2 days, Tamil Nadu stays on an alert as several dams in the state are brimming, and the government shall take all the action that it requires to take for the safety of the people of Tamil Nadu. And with that, it's a wrap. Thank you for watching. Vanakkam.
The beauty is of leadership being able to acknowledge and flex and mold and inspire and get the best out of their people.
Unfortunately, there's no holy grail. There can be an organization that's the darling of the market, doing well, delivering results.
If Shakespeare had been there, I think probably he would have written another tragic comedy.
The wages, the work conditions of these white-collared workers is far better and much higher than those of blue-collared workers.
Unfortunately, that is what I believe has deteriorated and deteriorated big time.
There could be regional offices, there could be country-specific offices where the